All right, so for this project, we're gonna be drawing ice cream cones. So I might have given you a guide that shows you step by step. I'm also gonna show you now. So we're gonna draw 3. I need to start with the one in the middle so they're kind of spread out evenly. So the best way to do that is take your fingers on the side and at the same speed, move them in. I basically found my center. Okay, so what you want to do is start with a curved line. Then we're going to go straight down on the sides. Curved line again. Now for the bottom, I'm going to go down here and do another curved line. Definitely not as big as the top. And now I'm going to start close to the edge and I'm going to get down to my line. So you can see it's wider at the top and it gets smaller at the bottom. So you're going to do that 3 times. If you want an ice cream cone that's upside down, what I would do is turn my paper upside down, draw out your ice cream cone. Again, I'm sketching, so it's easy to erase if I make a mistake. If I'm going to add some details, I would do diagonal lines. And then diagonal lines the other way to give you that detail on your cone. Next, I'm going to start drawing my ice cream. So again, you could do one that's kind of swirly like that. It's a little bit more difficult. Or I can do one that's not. So for that, I'm going to start for a different one, not a swirly one. I'm going to do kind of like a curved line at the top. And then I'm going to do like some lines like this. For the bottom of the ice cream. If you want to make it 2 layers, go for it. I'm going to do that, and then you erase that top one. So there's 2 layers. They're not going to be perfect. No scoop of ice cream is perfect. If I want to do this one, you kind of follow the directions. So it kind of curves up, down in a circle. And I go this way, up. This way. Like that. Now I have a swirl. If I want one that's kind of like smashed or upside down, again, you can turn it over. And then I might just have it like flat because it's upside down and it's smashed into the ground. I could make it a little bit more of like a puddle here. And then I'd erase that line. So now my ice cream looks like it's melting. That's totally your call. You don't have to do an upside down one. That's just how it would look. Now we're gonna start to add our oil pastel. So first I'm gonna outline my cone with my darker brown. I'm gonna go over those lines. I might have made them too big, or I made the lines too small in the first place. Okay, then I'm going to kind of shade one side with that brown up here too. Then I'm going to take a light brown and I'm going to fill in the rest. And you'll see right here, when I get to my dark brown, I kind of just overlap a little bit and it kind of smooths it all out. So same thing in here, I'm gonna kind of stay in my corners, or my, not necessarily corners, but your boxes. And then I'm gonna do some of that over here so it kind of blends together. You can always go over with your dark brown again if you feel like it needs it. Like my lines got a little blurred, so I'd redo my lines. So now you're gonna do that on all of your ice cream cones. So now we're gonna start to add in our flavor of our ice cream, and you have to have one that is chocolate, one that is vanilla, and then one you can do like crazy colors, rainbow sherbet, whatever you wanna call it, mint chocolate chip. We need only one though that has those bright colors in it, because that will be our focal point, which is where our eyes are drawn to when the viewer looks at the art. So let's say I want this one to be my chocolate. I'm gonna take my black and I'm gonna outline onto my pencil. And then I'm gonna go in a little bit on one side and give it a little bit of extra shading. Then I'm going to take my brown and I'm going to add my brown in. You want to make it really nice and full of color. And then when I get to the edge here, again, I'm gonna kind of go on top of it so it blends together for my shadows. So I'm gonna do the same thing down here, color it in. I'm gonna do my vanilla one here. So I don't want to use black because it's just really dark against that white. So I'm actually going to take a silver and I'm going to outline onto those pencil marks. And then again, I'm going to go in more in some areas. So it has that good shadow. Be careful like sweeping your hand across because you'll see what happens. It's better to like go to the trash can and blow the extra stuff off. Now I'm going to take my white I go on top of my silver line again, just it kind of like helps dull it a little bit. And then when I get to that edge, I'm gonna go back and forth, overlap. So it gives it that shadow. Now I'm gonna do my middle one with my crazy colors. Yours doesn't have to be your middle one, that's just the one that I chose. So I'm gonna actually do 3 colors. I wanna use my darkest color first. So I have like this darker blue that I'm going to go in with my shadows with. Then I'm going to take my next lightest color, my next darkest color, sorry. And I'm going to add some of that in now. And then I'm going to go in with my lighter color, which for me is going to be my pink. Oh. So I'm going to take that lightest color and kind of blend in my other areas with it, because we want it to look nice and smooth. If I need to, I can always go over certain areas with a darker color, or whatever I feel like is best. I'm also going to add some highlights with my white onto my chocolate, so it's the opposite side of your shadow. So just a couple lines like that. If it gets dirty like that, you can always flip your paper over and it'll come off. Add some highlights onto that one. And I don't add highlights onto the vanilla because it's already white. Then I'm going to add my shadows. So they're not very big. They're kind of like just oval. Kind of start at the bottom, like that. That shadow might hit my vanilla, and that's okay. This one's a little bit trickier. Of a shape. And then I go back in. Make sure it's nice and colored. At this point, I could also take my finger, I really wouldn't use my finger anywhere else except for this step, just to kind of make it nice and smooth. Make sure your shadow on the ground is the same side that you did on your ice cream.